Mentorship Programme. And of course, while we have been able to look at some vital topics in the past, we still feel like you need to be equipped the more so that you can effectively and efficiently carry out your projects by the end of your mentorship program. I like to believe that each and every one of us right about today have one or have their groups that they belong to. I'm sure that right about now you all have your SDG or focus already, and you should be in the respective groups with other members. Yes, yes. Thank you very much. And I am for. Thank you very much. Thank you. SDG4 gangs. Wow, that's fantastic. Quality education, yeah. That's a great one. That's a great one. Keep it coming. Keep it going. It's a great effort. So without further ado, I want to just quickly introduce you as this evening our facilitator who will be taking us on a very vital topic. We want to be examining project management this evening. And of course, I'm sure that you all agree with me that project management is very important, especially to every one of you. Of course, in each of the groups that you belong for your respective SDGs, you will be carrying out certain projects which are very important. So we decided that we want to come along with you on the journey. We want to make the experience quite easy for you. So we have come here this afternoon with a seasoned facilitator who is going to be taking you through project management concept as a topic today. And that is no other person than Mr. Fikayo Oyewale. So, Mr. Fikayo Oyewale, if you are on the call now, I see you on the call anyways, you can just quickly open your camera and say hello to the participant of this call this afternoon, and thereafter I'll read out your bio to the hearings.
Hello, everyone. It's good to be here. Thank you.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. You have a beautiful smile there. You're very welcome. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Fikayo Oyewale, who is a project management and science communication professional. His project management experience spans across agriculture, research for development, software development, and communication. And presently, he focuses on helping scientists and innovators to communicate their work, outputs, and impacts with the public through diverse media such as articles, stories, animation, documentaries, social media, etc. He has implemented projects for Redeemers University, the University of Cambridge, and the Lancet, among others. He is also the creative director of Alpha Innovation Studio and as a scientific communication officer at the Africa Center of Excellence for Genomics of Infectious Diseases, Redeemers University, Ede, Nigeria. He holds a Bachelor's of Agriculture and Master's of Science degree in Animal Science and a Master's in Communication of Science and Innovation. He is also a certified project management professional and a member of the Project Management Institute and the National Association of Science Writers, among others. So you will see now why we are not wrong to have Mr. Fikayo Oyewale with us this evening. And of course, I am sure that over the next 1 hour, 1 hour, 15 minutes, you will be having a great experience of his expertise as a project management professional and a member of Project Management Institute. So I hand it over to you now, Mr. Fikayo, and I'm sure you're really going to be having a great time with our audience here. Please feel free to take the floor from me now and take us on this project management journey. Thank you for joining us again. We are very delighted to have you here this afternoon.
Thank you very much. It's a great delight for me to join you. I hope you can hear me well.
Clearly.
Very good. I will share my screen briefly. Just give me a moment, please. So I believe you can see my screen now.
Yes, we can.
Once again, I appreciate this opportunity given to me to be a part of this discussion. I know that it's a journey, and from my understanding, I know we have people from all over Africa. We have entrepreneurs, we have students, everybody doing great things, working together to achieve the sustainable development goals. So I am delighted to be a part of this discussion today. I'll be discussing in the next few minutes that we have about project and program management for innovators. I am, as it has been said earlier, I'm a part of the Project Management Institute, but the things I'm presenting, I am not, they are my views and opinions and not necessarily those of the PMI. Here is an outline of my presentation. I will give a few definitions and then we'll talk about why we initiate projects, the project management process, who the project manager is, and we discuss a few essential tools, the common challenges, and then I'll just talk briefly about the Project Management Institute. Yeah, let's start with this. Innovation. All of us the word innovation is something that we are all familiar with. Maybe I should ask from us. I know we can see this, so we can have different definitions. When you say innovation, what do we talk about? What are we thinking about? That you can feel free to unmute and say something about it. To you, what is innovation?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. From my understanding, innovation is something that you create or that comes to your mind that possibly has never been in existence before.
Thank you. Something that has never been in existence before, just created it. Thank you. Very
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Yes, sir.
I'm Yusuf by name. Yeah. So I think innovation is just an idea of creating solutions to already existing challenges, just to better the one that are already on ground.
Okay, great. Idea, a solution to an existing problem. That's great. I don't know if anybody's, if you're dropping a message in the chat, I'm not able to read it because I'm sharing my my screen. So if anybody's dropping the answers, please, if Maiwa will be able to read that out, please. Do you have any other person that wants to one more person?
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Elizabeth. Innovation is adding value to an already existing thing.
Okay, so you are adding value. Something is already in existence, but you're adding value to it. And that value can be in form of maybe additional functionality, or it's maybe more efficiency or things like that. And do you have one more person or can I just go on?
Yes, this is Purity from Kenya. According to me, innovation is improving an already existing solution, which is already existing.
Yeah, thank you, Purity. Innovation, you're improving on something that is already existing. So it's a solution is there. So yeah, maybe that solution is not completely comprehensive, or it was as at the time it was made, it had all the functionalities that were needed. But now we need more functionalities and all of that. So we are adding something to it. Yeah, very good. Every one of us we had very, very, very valid answers. Basically, innovation is something new. And when we say new, we're saying that it's new, maybe a new method, a new idea, a new product. And as it is said, most times we know this, we said all over that, okay, there is nothing new under the sun. So if I say I'm creating something new, that means it's likely I'm producing that new thing out of something that was already in existence. So most times innovations are a form of improvement over existing things that are already existing on the earth. So this is clear. Now, what is a project? The project is a temporary endeavor that is aimed at achieving a specific objective. And I'll just spend a few minutes there. When we say temporary, that means it has a start date, it has an end date. And then it has a goal. We want to achieve so and so thing with this particular endeavor, with this particular activity. So we are going to do so and so to achieve so and so within so and so time. And there is this picture to the right is called it's a triangle that shows the constraints. Call it triple constraint triangle in project management. And that's talking about what are the things that we have to juggle together in project management. We are talking about the scope. That's what needs to be done. The time, for how long do we need to do it? And then the cost of that thing. Because it's some work that will be done. So there is a cost associated with it. And then all these three, as we are trying to balance the three together, it brings us to something, which is the quality. That's the standard that needs to be met for that project. So if I have, if we have a project that we said, okay, this project is going to last for 12 weeks, but for whatever reason, we have to bring it down to 6 weeks. Now, it will destabilize this triangle. We are still going to achieve, we still want to achieve the same scope, and then maybe if they say the cost is still the same, then how do we do? How do we survive? If any of these things change, it has the potential of impacting the other ones and ultimately to impact the quality or the standard of the final outcome. And what is project management? It's a process of initiating, planning, executing, controlling, and closing activities of a team towards achieving the specific goals within the project. We are going to come back to this, so don't stress. Let's not stress ourselves so much about it. The project management is what you do, what we do to achieve from beginning of conceptualizing the project, planning on how to implement it, then the exact implementation of that project, and how we monitor and control the implementation to ensure that we are able to achieve what we set our minds on achieving at the beginning. And also it involves closing. We finish the project, maybe we are handing over the products to the people that will continue to use it. And maybe I should just say this at this point, that a project is different from an operation. An operation is an ongoing activity. It's something that goes on and on and on within an organization. Let's say, for example, your organization, you are doing something with waste. Maybe you want to create a solution to manage wastes or to recycle waste products in a community. Now, when you want to start that, the process of saying, okay, let's try this, let's plan to take resources, get this, get that, to put together the machinery in play so that we can start this recycling process. That is a project. But let's say you finished that, you've established the system, you've established the process. Now, what is left is now for people to just drop the waste. You have everything in place for processing of those wastes. At that point, it's no more a project. It's a continuous thing, it's an operation, because you won't say that in that situation, it doesn't have an end time. Let's say the plan is to evacuate all the waste in a particular place. If you have not finished that, then we can say it's a project. But in a situation where you are saying the waste from a particular community, we keep receiving them and we keep processing them or recycling them. In that case, at that time, we are dealing with operations. It's no more a project. I hope you understand what I'm saying, please. I hope you understand the difference between a project and a program.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
an
sir.
operation. Thank you. Now, I would mention about program management. I know that most of us are going to talk about project, but this will just be the primary place where I'll talk about program. We'll focus majorly on
Okay, so sorry that we got cut out. I think we'll just continue now, Mr. Fikayo.
All right. Give me a moment, please. Okay, I hope you can see my screen. And you can hear my voice.
Yes, we can hear you loud
Yes,
and
we
clear.
can see and hear you.
All right. Let me just go one step backwards so that hold on, please. Okay. So, I talked about project management. That is the process of managing all of coordinating the activities that involve the initiation, the planning, execution, monitoring and control, and closing of the project. And while we're doing all of that, we are still trying to balance this triple, this triangle, triple constraints. Now, to program management. A program is a series of projects that are managed together so as to achieve a beneficial end. If we have two programs that are related in certain ways, instead of managing them separately, you can have them together under the same view so that you're able to maximize the two projects, or even more than two. There may be more than two projects in a particular program. And what you're looking at in the program, while for a project, what you're thinking about is deliverables. You are creating deliverables. Maybe you are creating a product, a service. You are trying to manage costs. You are trying to do things while you are trying to create things like that for a program. What you are thinking about is aligning projects with organizational goals. So you are making sure that these two projects or these multiple projects are integrated to the bigger picture of the organization. And then you're also making sure that they are mutual, they are maximizing the benefits of of those projects. So they're ensuring that each project delivers value, the kind of value they're expected to deliver. And they're also engaging stakeholders. They're managing stakeholders as appropriate, because if stakeholders are not satisfied with what's going on with the project, then the kind of objectives you want to achieve for the project may not be achieved. And if you leave some stakeholders on one particular project, the reactions from those stakeholders on that project can affect the other project. So with program management, you're having a view, an overall view about it. And with this, you're also prioritizing and budget. You're looking at which of these, how we putting money into the different projects. You're managing how those projects interconnect, the interdependencies between those projects. And you're also ensuring that the capacity, human capacity, the other resources, or maybe equipment and the like, within the organization or that are needed to achieve those projects that they are available. On a larger scale, we have the portfolio management, which are not talking about it, but basically that talks about the business goal, the alignment of the organization. That's much bigger. And within a portfolio, you can have multiple projects, multiple programs that you are looking at. But basically, this presentation going forward, we just focus on project management, because From what I understand, most of us have businesses and we will be running mostly projects. So let's focus on what we really need. The SDGs, I'm not going to be the one to be telling us about SDGs. We all know about SDGs, and you're doing a lot of things. I saw something SDG 4 gang the other time, so I know that you all know a lot about this. But then why did we come up with these SDGs? Basically, it's for intentional development. Global leaders, they felt that you can't just continue living like everybody do whatever you want to do, just continue. And then we'll land somewhere, someday. They came to the point where they said, look, let us really look at ourselves. Let's look at our lives. Let's look at the world we live in, how we're living in the world. Is this going to work? Can we continue to live like this? And if we continue to live like this, is that going to help us? Is that going to help our children? Is that going to help the earth that sustains us? So they asked all these questions and using scientific data, checking on these things, they felt, look, we need to make some adjustments. So they have these goals. So I call it, it's intentional. They are audacious goals that we want to achieve. And I'm happy that all of us are doing one thing or the other, aligning ourselves with these goals. And our projects, our initiatives are along the line with these goals. Now, I'll say this here. Innovations and projects are almost always interdependent. You hardly make progress without projects, except those progress happen through accidents. But the real progress that we've had so far, they all came from projects. So innovation, for the device that you're using to watch or that we're using to listen to me now, it was produced through several iterations of projects. Let us see. And it's not just the project of developing the phone alone. There are projects that involve developing the components, all of the micro, mini components, all of those things. There are several projects in little bits in different places. Now, the project of now bringing everything together. In fact, the project of even designing what it will look like. That's a project on it. So there are all sorts of projects. Anything that, if we are going to have real innovation that will really make sense, that will have a meaning or an impact, then most times they're going to have them originate from projects. In fact, people initiate projects because they want to drive development, because they want to move things forward. All of us who know this, they know about this innovation funnel. Okay, research, people conduct research, they check, okay, what exactly is happening now, or what do we have the potential of achieving? And out of research, the results of research are funneled into development. And sure that's what some of you are doing presently, or that you are planning to do. The outputs of research, maybe your own research or somebody else's research, they're trying to say, let us use this thing. Let us try this thing out. Maybe it was done in the lab or on a small scale. You want to say, let's do it on a little bit on a larger scale, or you are just develop something by yourself. Okay, let's do a pilot. So from the research, you're going to development, and then when you see that this thing is good, it's viable, then we talk about commercialization. And some of us are already into that, or we're looking into that also. So this is just to refresh our mind about this. That we should still look at this within the context of projects and project management. So why do we initiate new projects? We have different reasons, but these are just like a summary of it. Meeting regulatory requirements. So let's say there is a new law that this is what should happen. For example, there is a new law on maximum emission by particular companies or by companies in a particular industry in a country. Now, companies that are in that industry, to be able to meet the regulatory requirements, they would usually initiate projects to say, how do we do it? How do we survive? How do we stay within these within this regulatory requirement? How do we meet the regulatory requirements? And this is they start considering research, conducting research, developing options, and then evaluating them. Another one is satisfying stakeholder requests or needs. It can be the stakeholders or customers or some people within the network that would say, look, we need this particular solution. This is a problem we have. We need this. Can you give it to us? Can you help us with this? I remember all of us, we use hashtags now on social media, but I remember that hashtags didn't start. The hashtag did not start from the social media companies. It was the users were the ones that were using hashtags just on their own. And these people thought, oh, this is something that we could really use. So they had to, I'm sure they went into their own development team and said, look, let us have this functionality on our platforms. And everybody uses hashtag now. So your project can have somebody that says, yes, we have this, but we wish that this value chain, we have this particular portion that is missing. And this, because this is missing, we are not able to achieve what we need to achieve. So this is something that can come around from this is something that can come from stakeholders. Another thing is that we may be saying that we want to implement it may be that because we want to implement or change business or technological strategies. We have our business strategies that we have ongoing, and we felt that let us change it, or maybe we feel we need to do better. Currently, we are running. We run a business that relies heavily the solar panels that we use, they are not as efficient. Then can we find other things? Can we use a different kind of technology? And then we say, yes, our organization also works in the energy industry. So let us just create the project. Let's initiate the project to see how we can do this. Also, we can create projects. We can initiate projects because we want to create, improve, or correct products, processes, or services. Purity from Kenya earlier on, she mentioned that we can have projects because we want to want to improve a solution. So we have a solution in place, and we want to make it better. It can be a reason for us to initiate projects. And also we can have it can be because organization has the goals, the visions, and we have particular things we are really looking at. And for that reason, we initiate projects. So these are the reasons. These are just a summary. Maybe just in just 2 minutes, let me just ask for all of us, just any 2 or 3 people can just talk. Why did you decide to initiate the project that you're working on, or one project that you worked on in the past? Why did you decide to initiate it? You can feel free to unmute and talk, please.
Yeah, so I think generally the last project I did was like I'm trying to send across to secondary school the existence of sustainable development of sustainable goals, because most of our school doesn't like get to know much about the SDG goals. So I feel the need, because I even asked my brother personally what was his basic understanding about sustainable developmental goal. Then I see that being an advocate of sustainable developmental goal at my own pace, I can't even get an answer from him. And he literally followed me around to different occasions whereby we have to learn about some projects about sustainable development goals. So in a nutshell, I see the need for students to get more knowledge, to have more knowledge about sustainable developmental goal,
in secondary school. And that's why I have to opt in for the project of like trying to emphasize on sustainable developmental goal in secondary school.
Thank you. So we can say that you're trying to fulfill a vision that you have or objectives that you have. Thank you. Can somebody else mention why they initiated their ongoing project or a project that they had in the past?
So hi, how are you? Thank you so much for the presentation. My name is Zipporah Njoki from Mombasa. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Oh, yes. So in Kenya, some few years back, we were heading to our elections in 2022, and we had a new project that we initiated prior to the election year. So the project was to run pre, during, and post-election. All this was about to strengthen the knowledge and capacity of youth to participate meaningfully in the governance and democratic as well as in the political space. Thank you.
Thank you. So your project was about improving democratic processes through the engagement or through making sure people have the knowledge. Thank you. All right. So let's go. Okay, yes. All right, please go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Fikayo. Thank you very much for the brilliant presentation. I just wanted to clarify or need a clarification. You said implementing or changing business or technological strategies can be a new project. So I'm just trying to understand, because earlier on you made mention of operations and projects. So because looking at this, we can say already the strategy already exists. So we are just trying to a kind of fine tune it or implement some new additions to add value to the already existing strategy. So can we term this as a new project or an operation? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's a very important question. I would answer now. So you have the operation going on, but you want to see if the new a new process, a new strategy can work. Many times we don't consider it as a project, especially within maybe at least within the Nigerian context, where it's really a project, because what you're looking at first is you need to check. We want to upgrade or improve this particular technology. Let's say what we had was a processing plant that produces 1 ton of agricultural produce in a day, 1 ton. Now we want to upgrade to one that produces 3 or 4 tons. We are going to be thinking about, for example, what is going to cost us to get the equipment, the installation, the testing, how we're going to get additional raw materials. All of those things we are going to be thinking about how to do them. If we are thinking about this, all these steps, all these activities that I mentioned, they are things that we can put together as a project, because it's actually we are trying to create a new deliverable. The deliverable is a plant that produces 4 tons per day. Now, if we look at it as a project, which it is, we will manage it as such. And with that, we are going to be checking, for example, what's the business value? Why should we do it? Do we have the strength? Do we have the supply? Are we going to get the money? How long do it take us to get the money back? Do we have the market to sell it into? All of those details are things that we need to look at for that particular thing, for implementing that project. And if we're doing that, how are we buying the equipment? When we do all of those things, all those things that part of the like implementation or the execution of the project. Now, when we finish the installation and that equipment is in place, and we have all of the supply chain in place, that 4-ton plant becomes operation. It goes back to operation. Do you understand what I explained, please? Is that clear, please?
Yes, sir, it's clear. And you have done justice to it.
Okay, so thank you. Let's go on. So for most of us, our organizations, we have social enterprises, whether it's for profit or not for profit. Why do we need to think in terms of project management and our enterprises? Basically, we need to be efficient. We don't have all the money. Many of us are just bootstrapped ourselves. I'm passionate about this. I want to do this. Let's just go ahead and we start doing it. So we want to make sure that we use the resources we have as efficiently as possible. Even for those of us that we have grants, or we have some financial backing from somewhere, we want to also optimize the use of these resources. Then another thing is I want to be effective. We want to ensure that our goals are met. We don't want to say that, okay, we started this way, we wanted to do this thing, and then we end up on the other side of the streets doing something else. And we are like, okay, what did you achieve? What did you say you wanted to do? You wanted to do A. So how far did you go? We achieved C. That's not effectiveness. And then accountability, we need project management so that we can be accountable. It will help us to be accountable to ourselves and also to other stakeholders. It helps us to track progress and also outcomes. Because with project management, you define where we are going to before we even go there. Before we set out, we define it. So as we're going, we are measuring our progress towards that destination, and then we can also measure the outcomes. And then scalability. If we are able to conduct effective project management, then we can know that this particular idea, this particular innovation can work, or it cannot work. If it worked in so and so situation, we can expand it. If we're able to do this, and we're able to help 200 families, we can actually, if we have some more resources, we can scale it up and make it up to 5,000 families. That is because we have project management. And project management, you're able to see the trend. What are the things that you did? What went well? What did not go well? All of those things are part of what you have for project management. So this project management is essential for social enterprises. Now to go to the project management processes that I said that we're coming back to earlier. There are 5 of them, essentially. We have initiate. That's where you define a new project or a new phase of an existing project. So this is the point where you say, what's the situation? Do we have a business opportunity that we want to tap into? Is there a regulation? Let me just go back to those reasons why we initiate. We are going to ask ourselves these questions. Is there a stakeholder request? Is there this? Is there that? So we are asking ourselves these questions. And as we're asking ourselves those questions, we're asking ourselves, what will be the benefits? What is the cost? What do we need to achieve it? How would we achieve, how do we need to get up? So we are going to put all those things together. Then that's the phase of initiation. And after initiating, we talk about planning. How do we achieve the project? How do we achieve what we want to achieve? And planning is something that we must do. People would say that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's very valid. We plan the project. For example, we plan how to do the hands-on, the nitty-gritty, how to communicate, how to manage stakeholder, how to manage risks. We are given part of the planning, even not just the how to manage those things. We are going to identify stakeholders. We are identifying the risks. We're identifying all those things. It's a period when we really get deep into whatever it is we want to do. We may not be able to do it alone by ourselves. We want to get people that are experts or that have experience in the particular areas that relate to the project to discuss about the project, to give their thoughts, to leverage on what they have experienced in the past to plan the project. Now, execute the project. That's execution. That's what we do. What's the work that we do, the real work that we do, the work that we do to deliver the project output. Don't forget, we said that projects, you are having deliverables, and it is work that produce those deliverables. So what are the work that what are the different kinds of work that we do to produce those deliverables? That is what we do in the process called execute or execution. And then control. It's all in PMI, it's called monitoring and control. And some places we have that monitoring and evaluation and all. Monitoring the project activities to make sure that they align with the plans. And this control even is something that goes on through almost throughout the project, from planning, even from initiation sometimes. So we are trying to check, this was the goal that we had originally. So monitoring and control is how we try to check, are we planning in accordance to the original, to the reason why we initiated the project? Are we executing in accordance to the plan, in accordance to everything, to those things that we've done? Now, there are definitely times when projects require changes. Something came up that you were not looking at before. If that thing comes up, how do you mitigate it? How do you change? What do you have to adjust to accommodate that? So that is a very important process in the project, a very important project management process. And the last one is closing of the project. That's where we deliver the project outputs, archive lessons, and then we move on to other projects. This particular place is very important. And one thing that is often missing in many projects is the place of lessons learned. Every project is unique in its own way. I think I'm going to even say that. I think this is something that is coming here in a very real sense. Every project undertaking is undertaken for the very first time. That's Sarah Gallagher. This means that when you do something, when you do a project, that project really is a different project. Let me give an example. Let's say you are building 100 units of houses. One house, even though maybe the designs are the same, in a sense, the house one is a different project, or is different from house two. Do we agree with me? Hello? Are we still together?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we
are
are
with
together.
you.
Okay. Do you agree that in a project that we have like 100 houses, the houses are like more or less different? They are different, even though they have the same design.
Truly, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that means that we have lessons that we learn, that we can learn and we can implement from each project. And it's important that we note down these lessons. Many times, many of our projects, we don't note down what we learned. But it is recommended and makes a lot of sense that you note lessons you learned. Immediately you learn them, or as soon as you learn them. Because if you say you're going to wait till the end of the project, you may not remember, or you may just remember just a few ones. And if you don't learn from those lessons, or if you learn the lessons and you forget them, there is nothing that says you're going to use the lesson in the future. And then you can fall into some traps, avoidable mistakes in the future. So let us really pay attention to keeping records of the lessons we learn, observations and all of that, because these things become useful tools for future projects. And especially for those of us that are in particular organizations where people can we have projects from time to time, or that you plan that you are going to build the company you're building is a company that will last long. So you want to have these resources so that your people can be able to access them and use them in the future. So who's a project manager? Is the one that coordinates all these things we've been talking about since. And you may not, your designation will not be project manager, but if you are managing a project, essentially that's what you're doing. And what are you doing? You want to deliver the project on time and on budget. You are the one that manages resources efficiently. You assemble and motivate the project team. You manage time and milestones. So you are checking, you are the one that is responsible, that is really looking at how the project is flowing, how things are going. Are we within time? Are we delivering what we are supposed to do? Is there any issue? You also want to develop the budget based upon what you know about what is coming up, what you're doing, and all of that. You're also the one that will be responsible for managing risks. You monitor the progress, and you're also the one that reports. So maybe the stakeholders or the funders of the project. So as I said, many of us are bootstrapped, but these are things that if you're doing all of this on the project, your title is not project manager, but essentially you're doing the work of a project manager. And so you can give yourself a pat on the back. That's if you're doing it well. Well, I know you do it well anyway. That's fine. So what are the essential tools you need to have? You need to have project management software. There are tools like Asana, Trello, or Microsoft Project. They are good tools that you can use. And then you should have Gantt charts. These are tools that are used to visualize the project timelines. All these three tools that I mentioned, they have functionalities for creating Gantt charts. I know you can also do Gantt charts in Excel, the likes, but you need to be able to visualize the timeline, because if you just have text, it may not help you as much as if you can visualize, say, this is how far we're going, this is how far we're supposed to go, and then you can track what you're doing. Then risk management plans. It's part of what you're going to do during project planning. You're going to create a risk log. You are going to create the plans to mitigate the different risks that you identify. Also, communication plans. As a project manager, as someone that is running the projects, more than 80% of the time you are communicating. You're communicating with project team members, you're communicating with stakeholders, you're communicating with suppliers, you're communicating with different people. So you need to have a communication plan, an effective communication plan that will help you to manage the stakeholder communication properly. So what are the common challenges we have in project management? That we have resource constraints, and I'm also going to mention the solutions here. I would have put this as red flag, but I thought let's not do red flag, because we have some solutions to them. So let's just leave it as this. So we have resource constraints. You can have money. You're expecting that money is going to come, but money is not coming, or that there is this money. You have to cut. You need to cut down the budget, so you can have this kind of thing happen on your projects. And what do you do about that whenever that happens? You should prioritize and allocate resources effectively. What are the most important for our activities that you need to implement for your project to be successful? Prioritize these ones, then allocate resources to them. And the resources are not just money. It's not just about money. What about people? What about equipment? If equipment is not going to, maybe one you're using 2 equipment or 3, and then one of them got damaged. So, and you have different things that you need to do. So you have to ask yourself, which activities need this equipment the most? Or which activity can we push? So you have to really manage, allocate these resources properly. It also have stakeholder engagement. You're going to have to engage stakeholders early and often. When I say early, it means that you will talk to them. You bring them on before, as early as the initiation phase. For us as social enterprises, many times, if you just say you are going to sit down in your office to create a plan or a solution for people somewhere, most times it doesn't work, because you don't really know who the people are. When you get to the field, and then the people are like, what exactly are you talking about? So we should engage stakeholders early into the project, and then we should engage them often too. So we carry them, we go along together in the project so that the project can be very successful. Then there are communication barriers. We usually have issues with communication. As I said earlier, we do a lot of communication. And how do you deal with those communication barriers? You should use clear and inclusive communication strategies. There should be communication strategies for different stakeholders. What are their communication needs? You define the communication needs of these different stakeholders, and within your communication strategies, and implement the communication strategy. When your communication strategy is clear and inclusive, and you follow it, then you are going to be able to overcome communication barriers. If you find any issue along the line, you are going to be able to deal with them because your communication is clear and inclusive. Also, cultural sensitivity. This is like you can bring this close to inclusivity. People are different. People have different perspectives, and they're coming from different places. So you want to respect them in what you do and how you manage your projects. In closing, I want to just talk briefly about Project Management Institute. You were told earlier that I'm a member of Project Management Institute. It's the largest global body of project management professionals, and we have a lot of certifications. That's for project management professionals, program management, for scheduling. We have a lot of them. I won't go all through this. Let me go through this in details now because of our time. We have agile certifications, and we have micro credentials in organizational transformation, agile. I mean, so many things. You'll be able to have the access to the PowerPoint later on, so you can still access these things. But I just thought I should still show us. Being a member of PMI is it's a huge leverage. You have a lot of resources, you have a lot of learning, you have a lot that you can learn. And being a global organization, wherever you are in the world, there is a PMI. There is most likely PMI branch near you. So, or within your country even. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay. Maiwa, are you there?
Yes, I am very much here. Nice. Okay, so everyone could already tell that it's really a great presentation, right? And I think looking at the chat, you would agree with me that even the audience, they find the section very insightful, very informative, and they've had a whole lot to learn. So thank you very much, Mr. Fikayo. And of course, I must confess that even in that 45 minutes, it's been very packed. We've had a whole lot to learn. So thank you very much. So I think at this point, I would want to leave out the opportunity for those that may have one question or the other, so they can signify by raising their hand, and they'll have the opportunity of asking you their questions now. I'm very sure definitely there's going to be questions. So, just check on whoever is raising the hand now so they can ask you and we'll deal with it before you go.
Okay. I think people can feel free to just unmute and ask their questions.
Yes. We can have them do that. So let's give the watch about 1. Okay, I think one just dropped. Who is this person? I'm trying to catch the chat. Okay, so this is Yaya Yusuf. He's asking that they are free certification for the PMI courses.
PMI courses are not. I don't think there is any free certification. It's a free certificate. The membership, you have a lot of value for the membership. You're a member, it's a lot of value that you're going to get, but there is none. When if a there are resources that you can access free of charge, but for certification, no. So if you go to pmi.org, you can register to be a member, and you have limited access if you are not a full member, but you can access resources, absolutely. But if you are a member, you pay. If you are a member that you have full membership, then you can have access to make much more. Have value for your money.
I think that was very direct. Yes. And someone else is asking if there's a difference between a lump sum and time-based project.
I don't know what that means. A lump.
I think that's coming from Olive Komugiza. So probably yeah, I think there are two things to cut from here. I think by lump sum, maybe what the individual meant was when you try to use not the waterfall kind of approach. It's like you're doing almost everything together at a time. You're moving simultaneously for each and every phase of the project. And maybe for time-based, the person is talking about you specifying certain timelines for certain achievements on the project. So I otherwise, if I'm wrong, maybe he or she would unmute the mic and express the concern.
I think our appreciative Olive can explain the question a little clearer.
So Olive, if you can hear us, you may unmute your mic and ask.
Thank you very much. I'm Olive Komugisha from Uganda. My question is the difference between a lump sum and a time-based project. There is a little that I know about a lump sum project. Here, like the payment, sometimes like a payment is done according to the deliverables, how much you've delivered, depending on the project document. And then, like depending on the project document, but then sometimes like they don't have the deadlines. So the deadlines are always extended, but then now with the time-based, like the client is always so strict on the time. So you're paid after hitting the deadline and when you have achieved the objective of the project. So on asking, I thought maybe you could shed more light on that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. If I understand your question very well, this is more about the contracting terms, like projects that where payments are made are delivery based versus time based, time related to time. Yeah, I would say that this as I said, this is more related to the contracting terms. Like, okay, when you deliver this, you get this amount. If you don't deliver, you don't get it. And then there are also projects where we have that are time-based, that are more just like you said, when you've done this for a particular period, you expect, okay, these are the milestones that you've achieved, and then based on that, you get paid. And there are also contracts where we have penal, like this is the whole money that we are going to pay you. If anything, if within, if you finish it in 2 months or 1 year, we pay you the same amount. There are contracts like that. And then there are also contracts where you pay it, where you define, maybe you associate deliverables with timeline. So if you deliver so and so at so and so time, this is how much you get. If you fail to deliver what you're supposed to deliver, you are going to reduce, your pay will be reduced by this so and so percentage. So this is more about the contract, and there are a lot of options about it. I hope I'm clear about that. That's okay. Now, how do you achieve a change? How do you handle the change in objectives while executing the project? That's from Nwalin Rashid. Well, if there's a change in objective, that's likely from the maybe the project funder or the project sponsor. Now that means that likely the project scope is going to be affected. As the person that is handling the project, you want to be sure, or you have to tell whoever is asking for that change, that you have to find out what will be the impact of this change on the time, on the cost, on the quality. You need to find those things out first, and you would present it to the person that is saying there's a difference. And if that is, if you know the impact, is it going to increase those things or is it going to reduce them? Let those things be clear to them. And what will be the requirements for you to implement that change in objective? So if they agree with those things, then you go through your process of changing the process. Maybe it may require that you're going to have a new contract even for that particular, for the project, if it's going to be, if it's a massive thing. And just as we all, it's usually easier to have changes in objectives, to change the objectives early into the project compared to much later in the project. Anna asked if there's a difference between ideation and innovation in project management. Well, from understanding, ideation leads to innovation. Am I correct? I believe.
Very correct, sir.
Okay. So ideation is a process. It's one of the things that you do that lead you to innovation. So that's fine. Okay. Abdul Karim asks here that how do we compare the branding a project with the product design? A product we designed. How do we compare the branding a project with a product we design, the innovation in project management? I'm not sure I really understand this. Well, if I'm going to be able to pick this, maybe I'll separate them. I'll say, okay, rebranding the project. Can you probably ask the question again? Zipporah is raising up her hand. Can you just speak?
Yes, thank you so much. In your capacity and your experience, could you kindly maybe give us strategies to capacity strengthen the personnel apart from the program manager in a project? Because we are coming from different diverse fields and also cultures and countries. So maybe from your capacity, could you give us like some strategies to actually take up in strengthening our teams, since we are working in teams, and also in this fellowship that you are having, but at the same time, in our own businesses, our own institutions, maybe what can we learn from you in your experience? Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. If I'm going to be answering this as though I'm talking to a project manager. Like, okay, whatever you're doing, you are managing a project. And as the project manager, you are the one that is managing your team. It is your responsibility to make sure that the people you're working with have the skills, the knowledge, the skills, the resources that they need to deliver well on the project. So first, I have to admit that it's my responsibility for these people to know how to do their work and to be able to do their work well. Now, I would have to now find out what are the, first we need to know what are the skills that are needed to achieve our project objectives. What are those skills? Then we also need to have a skills audit for the team members. What skills are available? What's their strength on each skill? When we know this, we can be able to know what are the places where we have weaknesses. And there is the weakest person within the team is the team will go at the pace of the weakest person on that team. So we want to make sure everybody's skills are up there. So when we know the skill levels of everybody, we are going to have to formulate the plan for capacity building for each person. It should be tailored to the needs of each person, and especially to the achievement, the kind of things that we need the person to achieve, the kind of responsibilities that the person has, what we need the person to deliver. So we have to tailor it this way. And our projects, if you have funds, I clearly expect the project should have funds for capacity building. So let's deploy the funds as appropriate for the team members. I hope that's okay. In the essential tools given, isn't the community engagement plan so important in project management? It is. That's part of the stakeholder engagement. It's crucial. It's a very vital thing to do. For projects to be funded, what is the criteria to be used? Criteria used, or do you look into the fund to fund some projects? I'm not sure if this question is for me, but then generally for project funding, the person that is going to make the funding decision, or the people that make the funding decision, they want to check what is the project's promise. What's the project trying to achieve? And then what is this? Is it something that is needed? Is it something that is realistic? Is it how we talk about the SMART goals? Is it specific, measurable, achievable, all those things? Now, they check those things if they're valid. If that's true, then they're also asking themselves, they are going to ask the people that are proposing this project, are they capable? What's their capability of delivering this project? If all those things are in place, and then there will also be competition about, when we rank different projects, which ones do we prioritize? That was why the discussion about program is important. The person that is making the funding decision, they have different projects. So they're like, we have this. Which one is more important? Which one will achieve more? Which one will we put money into? So those are part of things that they will decide that will help them their decision. Yes, you're going to get the materials. I'm going to share the slides with us, please. Okay. I think.
Okay, there's two outside this.
Okay,
I think there's still one more question there. And someone is trying to understand the Where's the question now? I saw one question from someone. Okay, yeah, the difference between project rebrand. Okay, so how do we compare project rebranding to a product redesign with innovation in project management?
I really don't understand the question.
Yeah, it's somehow.
Well, let me just talk about project rebranding and product redesign. We have a project that is going on. Maybe the project is a 5-year project. Now, we've gone 2 years into it, and we felt that we want people to associate this project with some other things, some other name, maybe the visuals and all of that. That means we are changing the outlook, or we are changing the kind of impression that that this project will create in people. Now, don't forget, when we say project, the project has a timeline, it has an expiry date. So we are just changing what people will associate with the project within the period that project is in existence. Probably maybe you are still trying to achieve the same thing you plan to achieve originally. You're still going ahead with it. Now, product redesign is, we have a product. A product is not a project. A product is an output, it's a deliverable, something that probably is visible or a service. Now, we want to make it, we want to have a different feel. We want people to see it in a different way. We have this particular kind of phone. We want to have it, we want to have it maybe change, we want to change the way it looks. So we have an app, and that app has a look. We want to redesign it. We want to change the experience of users, maybe UI, UX, those of us that are very familiar with that thing, that space. We want to change what it looks like. It's a different thing. Now, that process of redesigning that product, it's actually, we can call it a project. If we initiate it, it's a project. We have it, it looks this way, but want to make it to look this other way. Now, we are going to implement a project to change the design of that product from design A to design B. Now, for those two, for both project rebranding and project redesign, it's a form of innovation that we are bringing into it, hopefully, because we are likely bringing something new, or we are making an improvement on what is existing before. So it's that's how I can probably explain that.
Okay, I think the person is confirming satisfaction already. And as much as I would have loved for us to take further questions, unfortunately for time, we would not be able to. However, I've shared a form with the participants, which they will fill, and when they mention some other concerns, we will be able to help them with some clarifications, and maybe we would forward some to you in cases where maybe they are very direct to you like that. So I think right about now, on behalf of AIIDEV,
Can I answer this last question before the difference between project components, outcomes, and outputs?
Okay, I think that we can do that. We still have about 2-3 minutes. Yeah. Okay,
so project components, there are different things that go into projects. There are the different aspects, possibly, of a project. The outcome, I'll talk about outcome before outcome. The output are the deliverables. Output of a project, they are the things that are achieved. The outcomes are what happens as a result of the outputs. Our project was to improve chicken production. So we work on this project. We have this chicken. Now, the output is people, we now have birds that lay eggs. Maybe, local birds that roam around, and they lay more eggs than the local chickens, and they are bigger than our local chickens. That's the output. Then what's the outcome? The farmers that are raising those birds, they have more eggs to eat. They are able to sell birds. They make more money from selling the birds, their family food security is enhanced. That's the kind of, that's it. Okay.
Now. So yeah, thank you very much.
Can I just say this, please? Thank you, everybody, for your kind comments. I appreciate. I read through them as I was after the presentation. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity and the comments, please. You can stay connected.
Yes, of course. It's a really great section. So the comments are well deserving. And I think also more formally, I should also on behalf of AIIDEV Africa say a fantastic thanks to you for this amazing section you've given this evening. And definitely we're going to be sharing the presentation with the participants so they would be able to make further use of the learning resources. Of course, we want to promote continuous learning, and we don't just want the experience to be a one-time thing. When they have access to the resources, they can always revisit at any blockage, just so they have a way forward. So yes, thank you very much. And for the participants, next Thursday is going to be another amazing time for another workshop. So please stay together, get activities going in your groups, and definitely would have an amazing time together on the fellowship. So have a wonderful evening, everyone, and do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.